Now I would like to introduce a very familiar special face. Please stand up, Jia. He will be giving us a brief seminar on Magis in Ignatian spirituality, or Magis trong linh đạo ý nhạc.
Good morning. Xin cảm ơn quý anh chị lên đồng hành mời em với lại the Western Region family here. So thank you for inviting us, the Western Region, to be here. Magis. Who has an idea what Magis is? Yes, not many people. Okay. It's a new term because it's actually a Latin term. Oh, who has ever heard about the word Magis? Wow, I have a tough task. Well, simply put, the word Magis is a Latin word. It's a very Ignatian word. But few terms is as grand and as elusive. Không có những cái từ nào mà rộng mà thật sự ra khó hiểu bằng Magis. Because simply put, Magis means the more, the greater, the better. And it's all over the spiritual exercise, and it's all over the Jesuit constitution. Cái từ này Thánh Nhã dùng rất nhiều. In the Jesuit constitution, at least something like 675 lần, 670 times. In the spiritual exercise, every single major meditation, actually there are 7, and they all have this spirit, but yet it's really easily misunderstood. So I'm going to spend the time trying to dispel misunderstanding first. So you may know, if you Google it, especially on the Jesuit side, doing more for God, doing great for God. When you plan big. When you dream big. When you do it great. Do it the best. And the more. Because God loves us, we have to respond to God's love, so let's do everything we can for God.
Wait, Dad.
Yeah?
What's also called doing? Like, didn't Father Nicholas say something about depth and doing?
Huh? Can you say that again?
Something about more. What's all this stuff about doing? What about depth? And he said depth of presence, not more than doing.
Oh yeah. Thank you. It's true in the spiritual exercise that St. Ignatius says, look at the cross and ask yourself, what have I done for Christ? What am I doing for Christ? And what ought I do for Christ? And it is true, that's in the exercise. But when Ignatius asks us to do that, he asks us to look at the cross. And a person with 2 hands stretched out of love, fully open to God. When you look at the cross, it's not about doing more. It's about a radical openness. Nếu chúng ta nhìn Thánh Giá, khi Thánh Giá nói về câu hỏi làm gì hơn cho Chúa, Thánh Giá muốn chúng ta nhìn vào tình thương của Chúa Giêsu trên thập giá, và từ cái đó chúng ta sống Magis. But in our day and age, in a world where more is better, bigger is better, it's easy for us to think that Magis is doing more for God. And maybe, but actually, not always and not really. Because Nhi nói đó, as Nhi said, Father Nicholas Adolfo, the current superior of the Jesuits all around the world, he says this, Magis, a better translation is not more but depth. A greater depth. Như vậy là Magis không phải là hơn. So the more here is more depth, and hơn đây là hơn cái chiều sâu, hơn cái sự sâu sắc, hơn là con số. Thì giờ chúng ta có nói gì? Hơn phẩm hay là hơn số lượng? Another misunderstanding of the Magis, and I'm kind of in it, is being Magis is being more efficient. More efficient. We live in a society, in a Western society, where fast track, fast food, fast everything, fast internet. And now, fast access. And so when I was in the Philippines, there was this Italian Jesuit who looked at the Philippines like in Vietnam, and you go to a department store, there's like 5,000 people helping you. You see this in Vietnam, no? And when you go, when you clean the street, there's like 10 street cleaners. And he's thinking like, John, in the US, in time, one blower, you can blow all the leaves away, and 1 or 2 people, and it's all automated, and you can take care of whole nostrums. But slowly we realize that Western efficiency, if applied in the Philippines and Vietnam, it's actually not the most humane, because people have meaningful work that gives greater dignity. So cái efficiency của chúng ta use như ở trong thế giới Tây phương này, chúng ta áp dụng nơi khác chưa chắc là tốt hơn cho con người, chưa chắc là không cho Chúa. Another example is very close to my heart. So I'm involved in this retreat called Caritas. It helps a lot of young people, no? A lot. And so people are like, hey, Chad, this is great. You gotta make it bigger, program it better, have 4 more teams, formalize it, and let it go all out. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Isn't that, we should really do glory for God? Yes, but one thing is missing. Have I truly really asked God, and this is what God wants me to do, and the way that it's done? Or did I just assume that this way that I've done that it's been successful, or whatever we do, whatever prayer experience, whatever program we have, it's been successful, and we think that is God's will. We need to duplicate it and program it and do it so many people could share because that's God's glory. Wonderful. Except we've forgotten to ask God. And to simply ask God, not assuming, not projecting, and allow God to speak. Yes, maybe God may want us to do it, but maybe not in the timing and not in the way we think. And so, what is most efficient is not necessary what will give God's greater glory, at least now. So, if the Magis is not about greater efficiency, it's not about doing more, I would say it's about it's about a deeper response to God. Một sự đáp trả sâu xa hơn. And sometimes that means do more, sometimes that actually means do less. Because it's a deeper response. Because you and I know, and if we experience God, Chúa quá thương con, và con đi thức tâm, con cảm thấy tình thương Chúa quá bao la, con xin đáp trả hơn. So it has to begin from a stance of grace. Your grace has overflown into me, and now I long to respond with the love that you have loved me. That is the beginning point of Magis. It's a response. But in our day and age, I would even say, oftentimes, let me share with you this idea, creating space. Chúng ta tạo chỗ cho Chúa thôi. Our life is so cluttered with worries, with stress, with things we have to do, especially if we live in the two coasts. And so when we go into the march, it's like, oh my God, I need to add prayer, I need to add this, like Victor, and all, and wow. And slowly, our focus begins to shift, and our life becomes more cluttered. And đời sống của chúng ta nó có nhiều vấn đề hơn một chứ. And you look, the marches is creating a space. Why? Because trong cái nhìn của Đức Giáo Linh Á, the vision of Saint Ignatius of God is a vision that God is already here. Chúa đang ở đây rồi. And God is already laboring. God is working to love, to transform, to bring greater life. Chúa đang có đây rồi. Chúa đang hoạt động rồi. Chúa đang thăm hóa rồi. Và Chúa đang muốn ban cho sức sống mới. Thì bây giờ chúng ta làm sao để cho Chúa làm những gì Chúa muốn làm. And so prayer is not a pulling God down. Prayer is mời Chúa vào lòng and chống đông hóa chút xíu để cho Chúa đang ở đó rồi. So prayer is not just like, oh God, come to me. No, God is already here. We should pray, let me come to you, or let me make space for you. And so this idea that this vision is St. Ignatius is God is already loving, transforming, freeing, bringing growth. Chúa đang hiện diện, đang thương, đang thăng hóa và đang ban sức sống. Thì như vậy, our task is để cho Chúa làm cái gì Chúa muốn làm. To allow God to do what God is doing already. And most of the time, I think for myself, I credit my life and I do great things for God. And I don't let God work through me anymore. And so how do you create space? One, lắng nghe deeper. You don't mind, I'm going to share just my experience in the Philippines. Em đi bên Phi Nhật Tân 9 tháng vừa qua. And I live a lot with people. And one of the most difficult experiences of mine is living 3 months with 5 families. And this is the family. It's actually more than that. This is just representatives. Like Vietnamese, that's like one Vietnamese family. So, this is where the place where we live. Look at the houses where people live. And look at the tombs. And that's you go too fast, man. Oh, really? Okay, thank you. And that's the rising water because water sometimes rises that much. And then most of this whole place is built on women. This is a landfill. And this is all trash. And the next picture, this is the front door of many of the houses. That's trash from that in back. This is my third family. So now I'm going to share with you about here, my second family. On the left here is the mother. She's a widow twice. So I live with them. And here's some more children. And then here are 3 beautiful daughters. Okay, that's good. So, so 28 people. I live with 28 people in a space from here to here, and then from here over. 28 people. That's one master bedroom now. And 1/3 of the house was blown away by typhoon. So the ceiling has blue top, and hanging from the ceiling you have can, because when the water runs through, it just catches there. You know about 5-star hotel? This is like a 5,000-star hotel. Let's see all the stars. And then we lived, I slept with 8 people. Never slept with 8 people. Never slept with 8 people before. Next to each other. And I had the only mattress. I couldn't refuse. I had 1 or 2 mosquito net. You know who has the other one? A child smaller than Christopher. 6 months. And so that first night I couldn't sleep because I was like, oh God, I can't do this. And yet, like God, they gave me the best.